Hey, what's up runner? Coach Kyle here, and today you're gonna learn about some great advice for when it comes to going into spring running. So maybe you're not a runner and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so awesomely nice outside, I'm gonna go start running. Cool, you're at the right video. Or maybe you're somebody who has been running indoors most of the time. Maybe you're just doing some pavement running, avoiding the trails, and it's time to get outside. Spring weather's here, man. So in that case, I'm gonna give you guys some tips and some tricks, some things to be mindful of when it comes to moving from winter, maybe indoor running, to outdoor spring warm weather running. So let's get into it. When it comes to spring running, also be ready for all sorts of weather. It was 60 degrees last week, and next week it's gonna be, there's a day that has a high of -3. So whether it is snow and then sun the next day or rain, we had some sort of weird gale thing, I don't know, come through a couple weeks ago where it was beautiful out, and then all of a sudden we got hit hard for like an hour, and it seems like in the spring the temperature, the weather just fluctuates pretty quickly sometimes, and week by week you could just have that. It's kind of just a mental thing to prepare for, is that you're gonna have a little bit of everything during that spring training. So as the winter transitions into the spring, slowly you must also do the same. Your body gets used to, your body adapts to what it habitually does. So if you've been doing mostly treadmill running or running on an indoor track, don't go do your first long run outside, have it be 18 miles. You will wreck your legs. If you've been mostly road running, I don't do a lot of trail running in the winter. So jumping onto a long technical trail run could be tough on the ankles because I haven't been doing it. And so whatever you've been doing to whatever you want to do a couple little short jogs to transition. Your body needs that little adaptation time, and it will thank you. Now I remember the first time I moved out here to the Black Hills in South Dakota, lots of technical trails here. I had never done those before in my life, coming from eastern South Dakota. And I jumped into the trail running a little too quickly. My ankles paid the price. However, I was mindful enough about it, so I dialed it back, took a couple weeks with no technical trail running to give my ankles a little break, and it turned out to be okay. But if I would have been a little more mindful of it in the first place, I could have avoided having to take off those 2 weeks from trail running by just simply making a little bit more gradual of a transition. Not forgetting the sunscreen is also a big deal when it comes to spring running versus the fall and the winter. I have another video that I'm going to talk about sunscreen during, but it's stupid not to. And yeah, I know it happens. I know it's not really awesome putting on sunscreen, but like I said, it's stupid not to. So put the sunscreen on, and if you want to learn more about that, check out my other video. With spring running, it's also super important to be aware of trail running etiquette, mostly in regards to like being nice to the trails, maintaining the trails. Mostly we're talking about when the trails get wet from spring showers, from snow or frost that has accumulated and then thawed during the day. It feels like in some locations that you're more likely to encounter wet, muddy trail puddles, etc. And in cases like this, you're best to ideally avoid running on wet trails. And the main reason for this isn't because of your wet new trail running, your nice new white trail running shoes. It's because that running on wet, muddy trail damages it. And it's best to avoid running on wet trails if possible. But if you're out on a dry trail and you come across a little wet section or a puddle, it's best to go through it. Go through the puddle, go through the mud. The reason for that is going around it damages the grass, it widens the trail, increases risk of erosion, etc. And that trail didn't magically form itself. Somebody built it, and depending on where you're at running, somebody's gonna maintain it. And it takes a lot of work hours, volunteer hours, maintaining, rebuilding trails. And so avoid wet trails if possible, but if you do come across some puddles or some mud, go through it or turn around and find a new trail to hit up. Be aware of, which side is facing the sun. Might be a little more dry. Go in the morning when it's not thawed out yet. It's going to be frozen, stuff like that. And I hope that after watching this video, you're more aware of, you're coming away with a few different things, a few different tips and tricks on how to go from winter running to spring into the summer running most successfully. So thanks for watching. If this was helpful, give it a like. And if you have any other suggestions, drop a comment below.